Hello, this is Ryan Armitage, and today I will be providing you with what I see as foundational IT recommendations for your business. These are going to be the topics that I'll cover. I'll go over what I saw was the breakdown or the current state of your business, and then 4 components that I think could be implemented to really build a solid foundation that hopefully in the future, after this has been implemented and it's better understood, could be built upon going forward as well. Excuse me. The business details. So what I see is this is a local bakery currently without an online presence. You all are located in a semi-small city of 5,000 people where you get about 50 to 100 customers a week. From my understanding, the intent of the online presence is to obviously increase those numbers, and then it also helps with marketing and getting the name out there as well. So the hardware that I saw were 2 desktops and 2 laptops, both running Windows 10 operating systems, along with 1 iPad tablet, which is the iPhone's operating system or Apple's operating system. The issue that I wasn't able to see whether or not is to determine whether or not all these devices are up to date on the most current updates, and if the antivirus, which is what we recommend is Windows Defender right now, is up to date and or running. I did see that there are currently 8 employees, which is a smaller group, which makes it a lot easier because we can focus on them and focus on everybody involved. And our assumption is that the employees have limited or no knowledge of IT and security related to that. And so we're hoping to implement some real basic security measures like passwords, sharing computers, keeping customers from accessing those computers or anything like that. So in kind of a short, brief statement of each of these 4 recommendations, the first thing is that we recommend, or that I recommend, is the business continuity plan. So as you can see, this is a plan against natural and man-made disasters. Natural disasters can be like hurricanes, tornadoes, and whatnot that are obviously natural. Man-made disasters could be any security attacks, so maybe like denial of service, or maybe a man-in-the-middle tax, different stuff like that. That's obviously not natural. So I think this plan is a good thing because then it kind of it helps your business to kind of see where or how it should kind of fight all that as well. And then a disaster recovery plan, which is this is in the event that it's not necessarily an if, but a when your business may get attacked. This lays out how your IT kind of infrastructure gets returned to normal status after a disaster. So this typically it tries to encompass all the potential risks and threats that can happen, but obviously it's not going to encompass everything. The third one is the cloud computing. So we went with cloud computing versus trying to get a physical hardware at this point, just because this is just starting out. So just recommending that we start with cloud computing, which again you see here, it reduces the initial hardware costs and it allows for website servers to get up faster because we don't have a physical one to set up, and the server or the service that we recommend is to use Amazon's AWS because they offer a 12 months for free to kind of get our feet wet, get everything rolling, see how it works. And then they also offer pay as you go, which, as the name implies, we could pay as we go. But it also allows us to pick out what we need, and we don't necessarily have to pay for package deal where there's some products where we may not use at all. And it's just kind of thrown all together. So with AWS, we get to pick necessarily what we want to use and what we will use. There obviously are some downfalls with the cloud computing. If AWS runs into issues and there's no internet connection, we can't get that access to the data. But at this point, I think that's a risk maybe we can run with. And the last component that we want to implement to really build that solid foundation, just to start out, is implementing some local like hardware and then some basic security implementations with the employees. So like I mentioned earlier, password recommendations and storage of the passwords. So typically you don't want a password that's too short, easy to guess, anything like that. It wants to be something that's maybe a little harder to guess and or remember, but it should not be stored or written down anywhere. Along with that, we also recommend that there be hardware software policies, so that way the employees know, hey, this is what we can and can't do with our work computers or work laptops or work iPads, and then what are the consequences of breaking those policies as well. As I alluded to earlier, antivirus protection. So Windows Defender, I personally use it myself. It works great. It does what it needs to do. If we need to bump up to get something a little bit better down the road, and then we'll have to look at costs, but we should hopefully be able to do that as well. The last piece is the modern router. So at this point, I don't think that we were going to go with having public wireless network for the customers, just to keep it simple here. But we do need to upgrade or get a more modern router, which allows for that upgraded security to kind of, that way it's not old and we're not using an older router, which could be potential for security risks. And so those are the kind of brief summary of what we saw as recommendations for your business, just to build that solid foundation. And our goal moving forward is to use that, and then obviously build upon that to maybe get a little more secure there. So thank you.